All right, here we are for another session on tour with the Rich Life Projects, and today one of my good friends, Newcastle yoga extraordinaire, Murray Smith. Welcome to the Rich Life Projects, my friend.
Appreciate it, man.
Oh man, it's been good.
To be.
Yeah, been trying to line this up for a little while, but now we're here. And what's been happening in the Murray Smith journey?
Heaps.
Yeah,
heaps. It's been, I mean, especially of late, there's been just evolution upon evolution in what I'm doing and as a human and offering to the community, but also behind the scenes, newly into fatherhood and trying to navigate small business and a family. Super fucking tricky.
100%.
Is it okay? It's okay to swear on
No,
this
you're not allowed to fucking swear on here, mate. Everyone says that. We're allowed to swear? No, fucking way. No. Let's go back to growing up. What was Murray Smith's childhood like?
My childhood, super sporadic. My old boy was in the bank, so he was shifted around heaps. And I think that's what caused like a lot of disrest in my upbringing. There was just this constant moving around from city to city, town to town, never feeling really, I suppose, grounded in any place, not connected to anywhere. So born in Maitland.
Yeah, the old Maitland, eh?
Didn't see that one coming.
Eh?
But then, sort of moved around a lot. So Nowra, Tweed Heads, Albury Wodonga, Sydney, Newcastle. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Moving around. And schooling-wise, how was Murray Smith in school? The educational genius?
No, I think school is a terrible idea. Like, it didn't suit me at all. I could even even coming here today, people are like, all right, we're going to be sitting down doing something for however long. And I've got to prepare myself. Yeah. I can't just be like thinking I can sit.
Not like me, just come from the golf course, fucking just jump in a van, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's just talk.
I had to go do like 2 hours of intense workout just so I can sit here for however long we're going to be here for.
I love it.
Yeah. So, school was terrible for me. Really, I found it super difficult to concentrate on anything they were, trying to teach me. Just the environment. And I really feel like even, I was just super sensitive to my environment, even at home and at school. And really, I could feel that there was something just not right about all of it, even like society and the structure of the educational system, and even being at home, I just felt like I was separate to the rest of the family. There was something different or unique about me.
Yeah. And how did you get to that part? Obviously, you're feeling like that.
Mm-hmm.
What was the stages to try and, because obviously when we get to that stage sometimes in our lives, we've got to try and, one, adapt to our surroundings and adapt to our life. Yeah. What was those stages for you to adapt from the schooling and what you just said there? So
I think that's what, it's like an adaptation to the environment. But when you're so sensitive to these environments, then I just started to learn coping mechanisms.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And I only know this now.
Yeah, as you do, old.
Yeah. So I look back and I'm just like, so I just created all these coping mechanisms to get me through that. And I was so sensitive that, I was looking to completely numb myself to my environment. By the age of 8, I was
really
actively drinking alcohol to get drunk.
Wow, at 8 years old.
At 8 years old. And I look back and I'm like, what the fuck is going through an 8-year-old's head? Not just head, but heart as well, to feel as though, that's the option.
Yeah. And when you start drinking at 8, where does that life start to lead to? Obviously, you're in school still.
Yeah.
Where does that start to lead to?
So it was, my parents identified, I think everyone fucking identified really quickly that there was something.
Wow, something's wrong.
This is what I was forever told, right? There was something wrong with me, and sent to see people to try and figure me out. And so my memory was, and this is just my memory, right? But however it was, but this is how I remember it. I was just constantly sent to see people to try and figure out what was wrong with me. And then they would label me with something and then give me this medication that was meant to fix it. And, each person I would go to see, it'd be a new label with a new medication, and, had the alphabet You know,
Yeah, really.
Everything they could fucking, and the medications for me, and I still remember it so clearly. Like it just made the disrest inside me worse and worse and worse.
Wow.
Maybe on the outside looking in, it sort of to contain me. It helped other people deal with me, but it didn't help me deal with me.
Yeah, okay.
And, you know, it really started coming to a head. I was using alcohol and drugs pretty young in the teenage years, and was constantly, I fucking vividly remembered I was just constantly in trouble. And there was like a long period of time where like I would be taking a change of clothes to school because that's how regularly I was in fights.
Yeah,
like,
true.
And it wasn't like I was about it. If someone wanted to fight, I'd, you know.
Have a crack.
We'll have a crack.
Yeah.
But it was what I found and remember was like people were like wanting to fight me.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't as though I was like the bully getting around. I was like, I don't know, for some reason I just remember it was like older people, like the boys in the older year wanted to fight me. And
Do you think that was like what you were giving out, like the energy that you were giving out? Because, I mean, you say that and I know exactly how you feel because probably my scenario was red hair and freckles.
Right.
And I was a pain in the ass. So older guys went, fuck this little freckly dude. I'm going to kick his ass.
Totally.
That's why I was always in fights, but I hated fighting. But do you think, what do you think was do you think it was the energy that, you know, what you were dealing with?
Yeah.
And then they thought, you know, whatever your character is, let's fight this. Let's pick on this dude.
Yeah, I think there was some of that, but I also think like I don't know what it was in the beginning, how like we ended up there where I was just constantly in fights. But it got to a point where it was super clear that the boys in the older year was like it became a target, like the tall poppy. Like this guy's winning fights, but so they'd send the next one in the next one.
Someone beat this dude.
And that's what started happening. Somehow I just had this natural ability to protect myself. And maybe like a fuck ton of stored anger from years of not feeling whatever, safe in my environment, at home, at school, or just fucking angry. And they became the target. And even though they were coming to me, they because of like the situation, how the fight would end, I would be the one in trouble. And I was trying to explain to people, I'm like it's like, I'm just protecting myself here.
They probably looked at the other way. Fuck, he's beaten up. You must be the issue. Right. So when you think about that, and you're getting bullied, and you're trying to protect yourself, you're doing a good job by protecting yourself by battling against these bullies.
Right.
Yet then it comes back onto you tenfold. You're already dealing with all the pressure and the anxiety, everything that you're dealing with.
Right.
Now you're in trouble because you're trying to defend yourself.
And then you get fucking home and have to deal with the same, like in trouble at home because of what happened at school that day.
Yeah, yeah.
So I didn't want to be anywhere. I didn't want to be at school. I didn't want to be at home. And there was like a group that I was hanging outside of home and outside of school that had nothing to do with school. And like most days, like I just get sick of it, just fucking leave, go pump bongs and
as we all did back in the day.
And that became the daily.
Really? Yeah,
That's how I started,
true.
like really dealing with life on a daily basis, you know. It's like actively searching for ways to numb how I was feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you get to that stage and you're going through that, dealing with it, where does it come out? Like where do you get to a stage where you go, okay, well now I've moved to this part again. Now I'm moving on.
Yeah.
You know, I've got through that shit.
Yeah.
You might be copping more shit.
Yeah.
But, you know, what was the stages and then growing and dealing with that? Obviously school-wise, you know, going from school to then, you know, dealing with teenage.
I left school and left home was what happened when I was an early teenager. I think 14, somewhere around that. Like I just went, this is enough. And like I didn't feel as though I belonged in any of these places.
Yeah.
And then there was like a group of people I was hanging out with that fully accepted me for who I was.
Is that because were they what they people class? Oh, they're the bad company.
Yeah,
but you felt
connected.
They were the same as you.
Right.
What you were dealing with, they were probably dealing with too.
We're all dealing with. That's exactly right. And so I moved out of home. So I was out of home, super young, and navigating that whole life. And this is when like
Where do you go? Like at the age of 14, where do you fucking live?
So there was one person I knew that had it somehow. He was about the same age as me. I think it was like his parents were like super wild.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
right.
But got him like his own rental property, like him and his brother, because things were super wild for them.
I was going to say they didn't want to probably deal with the kids, so let's just fork out the money,
right?
So we can piss these kids off, and we can have our nice quiet life, and they run amok.
Well, I don't know if their life was quiet. Maybe it was like a two-way street. They got them out of the house to protect them, also.
Yeah, true that. Okay.
Yeah, and the kids were also super fucking wild. So the combination of the two was just
and you found your way there.
I was straight in there, and they're super receiving, and then. Like this is where things really started kicking off. Like, I really found that an outlet for how I felt in this world was through seeking adrenaline.
Yeah, right.
And I started doing a lot of crime.
Yep.
Things started escalating really quickly. It was like,
and when you first get into the way of crime, what's the first thing? Because you do hear people go, we done some petty stuff there, and then it led to this, then it led to that. What was your experience? Yeah, the first stage of the crime.
The first stage is just moving some drugs, breaking enters. In the early days, that was like an easy way to earn some money and get a rush
and live
Yeah, and we're all in it together, and it was fun. Like, and it removed me from me. Like, whilst I was doing this, it was like all of that stuff up until that point that had ever happened. Like I started
blocked it out.
Yeah, and I started feeling free. Like I was living outside the boundaries of society that I identified early that there was something fucking really wrong with.
Yeah, right.
So I was just free.
Were you communicating even though you moved in with your group that you're with and started to do the crimes? Were you still communicating? Were you still the relationship with your parents and so forth? Where was that at that stage? It was
very distant.
Okay.
Yeah, super distant. Chat every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't like on the daily ringing my mum and I know like it was very tough for her too to watch a boy just walk out into the world and become a man, try and become a man. But that was my path. That's where I needed to go. It's what I needed to do.
Yeah.
And so I think and things progressively just escalated over the years. And that was down in Albury. I was first out of home down in Albury, then moved to Sydney. Maybe like
Sydney, if you're doing crime, Sydney's a place to be.
It's a place to fucking be.
You got the pick of the runt down there.
Even got better. Like once I moved to Sydney and fully like got into it there, then I moved to Newcastle. I went, this is fucking easy.
Yeah, right. And so in Sydney, what's some of the things you got your hands into?
Yeah, so that's when I really started taking off and just started meeting, I suppose, people that were more into it.
Yeah.
And by this time, I was using harder drugs. It's like into the speed, into the heroin.
Need to get more of a rush.
It was just a constant searching for that feeling, that rush of adrenaline, living on the edge, and also numbing.
Yeah.
Like, because you could imagine as time go by, all these things that happen, it's like on a daily basis. Like,
you're forever trying to just block it at the be numb.
To numb it, yeah. Never really wanted to feel who I was and all the things that had ever happened. And then what was I? I think 20. I got to 20 and I was doing some solid crime and then, I don't know, the cops must have.
Where I was going to say, where did the crime stop? What was your first initial contact with the police?
At 15, I was
15, okay.
First arrested and charged with just possession. They raided a house I was at, and there had been some safes around the area going missing, and they found them all.
Found them all empty. I've got no idea. So where that money went to?
That's right. So they pinned us there, and they found some gear in my pocket. And it's just like fucking whatever. Who cares?
Were you one of the with that crowd you're with? Did you started to get well known to the police?
They picked up super early because I was hanging out with like some guys that was much older than me, would do like in and out of jail. And
okay, so they were sort of well known to the police. Those guys.
So. And then I got connected, and what they figured out was like the there was me and another guy that would, and like we were just hanging out all the time, and they just knew that we were up for fucking anything. We just didn't care.
Yeah.
So if there was like something a bit sketchy, they'd be like, "Do you just want to come?"
Yeah.
Oh, fucking no, send us in. And it was all that like making a name and trying to be a part of, and it all stems from like fucking not feeling as though you're worthy, right?
100%.
I know all of this now, but at the time I was just like, oh, these boys want us around. Well, fuck.
Especially when you're getting away with a lot of crime and doing the drugs, and you start to become that invincible. You're like, fuck, I'm invincible.
Yeah.
I can realistically, at 14, 15, 16, I can do what I want.
Do what I want. And who cares?
Yeah. Like when you're not getting that sort of communication love from the parents or other people.
Right.
Then you're like, who fucking cares?
Who fucking cares?
And really your life, sometimes people go through, I don't give a fuck if I die tomorrow. How many times do you say that? I don't care if I fucking die tomorrow.
Right.
Who fuck cares?
Right.
Yeah, so that's that position you're in.
Yeah. So a long life of that stuff. Like I just didn't care. In fact, some points, like I just remember, because there was also times where I was homeless, like nowhere to go. And like they were the times that really forged this concept and idea in me that I just didn't care.
Yeah.
Like if I had like nowhere to go, it was cold and fucking hungry, and like I just then like you hear the story come in and it's just like, I don't give a fuck what I have to do. This is never going to happen again.
Yeah, right.
And
it would have been, was there some times where you're like, oh fuck, it's cold. Where am I going to sleep?
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Yeah, there was one particular time where it happened, and it was super clear that night that no one was coming to help. There was like no one around, and it was just me. And that's when I made that decision. I vividly remember the conversations that I was having in my head was just like, I don't give a fuck what I got to do to make sure this never happens again.
Yeah.
And that's, when
progress after that.
Things started escalating a lot. And like 20, I had a place at Castle Hill in Sydney, and that got raided by a task force, and
now you're up with the big wigs. Task force are coming in.
When they hit fucking hard.
Oh, I bet.
They don't fuck around. And so they found like hydroponic set up and other bits and pieces, and a stolen police uniform. And
what were we doing with the uniform?
Just dress up.
So if Murray turns up to the dress up parties, now we go, he's wearing that cop suit. Okay, we know where he got it from.
Right.
Wow, that's crazy.
And they don't fucking appreciate that sort of stuff.
No, they
don't.
That's pretty much like what they would think if you shot a cop.
Right.
You're taking his uniform. That's his identity.
Even though I had no part in the coming of...
I was going to say, actually, how did you get the uniform? Did you actually strip a copper down and then take it? Or?
Like, for podcast purposes, I got no fucking clue where it came from.
Boys, hold him down. I'm going to strip this uniform off him, tie him up with the handcuffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So in the end, it was like, because I hadn't had much of a history before, that was my first charge as an adult charge. Most of it was served in the community, like a sentence served in the community, but definitely on their radar.
Yeah.
From then on. And
did you think much about? I'm just doing community work here. If I haven't. It's not like I'm going to the jail or anything.
Yeah.
So is that sort of have that train of thought of going, I'm going to actually I can still do this.
Yeah.
This crime, and this is all I'm going to get.
Well, it was a little bit of a badge. It was just like, because then I suppose people knew, other people around me started like identifying what I was doing. We were doing like, by this time we're doing like home invasions and armed robberies and like it was up there.
Yep.
And moving a lot of gear around.
Yeah, true.
Like because I was using so much, in order to keep up with it, there just had to be heaps around.
Keep up with yourself.
Right.
Wow.
And it was full on. And then, so after that I had like a full breakdown where I tried. Like I went, I'm going to fucking try something different, and admitted myself into my first stint in rehab.
Yeah, okay.
And I suppose the seed was planted, but I was way too young. I still had so much more to do and get done and experience. And so I'd done, I don't know, like 6 months in rehab and then moved to Newcastle. And
So when you was rehab in Sydney?
the rehab was on the Central Coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you moved to Newcastle after that.
Yeah, and tried to like, I don't know, tried to do fucking whatever it was, like live recovery as a young mid, I don't know, 24 or something like this. Itchy feet.
Yeah.
Super itchy feet. Working and then, started behind the scenes, just like started coming back in.
Yeah.
Started doing some drinking and then smoking a little bit of weed, and then I was back moving a heap of gear around whilst working, and somehow I bought a fucking house. This is at the time where mortgage brokers were just handing money out to anyone. Yeah. So through that process, bought a house, and then was just, like moving gear around, trying to do all of that with a partner that was just fucking off it all, and then destroyed that. Like, just went out of my way to like bring it all down because I don't know, there was something inside me that hadn't been healed yet and just drew me back to that life.
Yeah.
And things got super heavy again.
Yeah.
Like, super heavy, and was back into it, just back doing my thing, like moving heaps of gear around.
Yep.
And
you still had the house, or you sold the house, lost the house?
Yeah, because I was like using the partner's name on a lot of things.
Okay.
It all come crashing down.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I'm fucking now grateful.
Yeah.
Like it all had to fall apart.
Yeah. Was there any time in jail, like full jail, to make you like go, fuck, now I am.
We haven't even got there yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, wow, the eventful upbringing, yeah.
Yeah, so like there was, like, so I got caught with a heap of gear, charged with drug trafficking. Because of the circumstances, I think it was like I wasn't in my car, and I suppose they couldn't fully like pin it on me in the moment.
Yep.
So released on bail, hectic bail conditions. I was reporting police stations every day, curfew every night. And,
wow.
Like, I can't do that shit.
No, not when you got things to do.
I can't be at home at night. What are you talking about?
Wow, that would have been a big kick in the old nuts. Going,
and then
wow.
waiting to go to trial, and like pleading not guilty the whole time, as we do. And then like maybe 8 or 9 months later, I got pinned again, and this time it was like they got me in my car, and there was just fucking drugs all through it, like firearms pulled to pieces, just boxes of ammunition, and like the whole fucking lot. Homemade silencers and fucking...
They would have been just rubbing their hands going,
Gotcha
this time, my friend.
And that was the comment that I said, you're going to jail tonight. I'm like, I'm well aware of that.
And that was that in Newcastle when you got caught?
In Newcastle, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
And then, sent out to Cessnock. So, all up, done like a couple of years.
Yeah.
And so this is where the great change started to take place.
I was going to say, usually when you get to that point, and even doing a couple of years for that's not too bad.
Fucking very good.
Considering these days you probably get 5 or 6 years for...
The legal team were saying, listen, got some top end stuff, and you're looking upwards of 10 years.
Wow. What at that point, when they told you that you're looking at 10 years, what's the thought process to that? Is it just at
that point, I just didn't care.
Fucked.
I just went, like, at that point, I just went, whatever, I don't care anymore, and it'll figure itself out. And
that's a good thing to say when you think, I'm getting 10 years. Yeah. It'll figure itself out.
Well, I look at the previous 28 years of my life before this happened, and like, what's the difference? Like, there's still so much. There was just still so much turmoil and pain and suffering that didn't matter where you put me. That still all existed.
Still there.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I remember it quite vividly. By this time I'd been moved down to Silverwater over in Dawn-Delois. Like, I don't know if you've...
I've heard of it. I haven't been there.
It's fucked. It's like super old. Yeah. I went from the brand new jail at Cessnock where you had like a TV in your cell.
Lounge room, popcorn, watch movies.
Yeah. And I walked in, I just looked around, I was like...
I'm going to do 2 years in here? Please.
And then they moved me out, because that's what they do. They move you around before you get sentenced. And
okay.
And ended up in Dawn-Delois. and it was just the pits. Like it's
I was going to say
a lot of people.
Silver Water, that's where the best of criminals go.
It was a lot tougher. I mean, my time really wasn't tough.
No.
Yeah, like I suppose just how I held myself in there was the best thing I could do. But yeah, that's where I was actually in jail down at Dawndalos, Old Silver Water, I think they also call it, and had a fucking moment where something outside of myself touched my spirit.
Wow.
And like I know you hear people talk about this sort of stuff all the time, and I had this massive awakening and an awareness that, and it was super vivid and super clear that this wasn't actually me.
Yeah, right.
It's not what I want to do, and it's not my purpose for being here on this planet. And it hit like a ton of bricks, and super tricky to navigate because you're in jail. You need to hold a certain level of composure.
Yep.
It can be a dangerous place, especially if you allow yourself to be a victim.
True.
But also knew that I had to change.
Yeah.
So like time went on, and so I made, Renee laughs as she goes, you cut a deal. And so I made a deal with whatever this spirit was that was like started to communicate with me.
Yep.
I said, I got to a point I just went, I don't care what the outcome is, if I've got to stay in jail or if whatever takes place and I get released early, whatever that situation is, I'm going to choose to go ahead with the change. And so yeah, done that time. So the time was for all the firearm stuff, and a heap of charges got thrown out because they couldn't actually prove that, I was modifying them or making certain pieces.
Yeah,
so
right.
Charges started falling away.
Yeah.
In the end, I just went, all right, I'll plead guilty for those ones and got time served.
Yep.
Released on bail, which still to this day I don't fully understand.
Yep.
My legal team at the time they were even surprised. They go, you're getting released on bail, awaiting trial for the drug trafficking charges.
Wow.
Which was carrying that would have been, a few years on its own.
Wow.
So the story goes, I got out and then just went, I need help. I have a lifetime of really shitty fucking behaviours. And I actually don't know how to function properly in society. I've never done it.
But that must be, I can't even think of the word. There must be a fucking moment where you go to be accountable and go, I need help.
I need help. Yeah. If I'm going to change, and 100% I need some help.
Yeah.
Because my best thinking gets me into trouble. That's all I know. And there was this driving force too. I don't know how to communicate it with people. There was the driving force from behind me, whatever this thing was that communicated with me. There was this, I could feel it. It was creating momentum and clearing a path and guiding me in the right direction. So I don't know how I built a trust with it. Maybe it's all I had left. And I got released on bail, went to a rehab, one of the strictest in, they're no bullshit approach.
Yeah, right.
Which is what I needed.
Where was that, here or?
Cessnock.
Oh, in Cessnock. Okay, yeah, why?
And they're there just to point out your fucking shitty behaviours.
Yeah, right.
And they done it really well. I could not escape it.
Wow.
Which is what I need.
Yeah, true. You need the truth told to you.
Yeah, that's what I need. I needed people to tell me the truth about myself.
Yeah.
So just stuck that out. I just committed. I just went, okay, I'm not leaving here on my own accord. I'm not going to make the decision just to walk out of here one day because I know where that'll lead me.
Yeah.
So I went through that whole process and then, came to Newcastle and didn't know what I really wanted to do, but knew that I didn't want to go back to what I was doing. And then I suppose how the life I'm living began to unfold was I just got the calling to walk into a yoga studio one day and just do a class. Because
you were doing it concreting as well, weren't you?
Concreting, yeah. Once I got back to Newcastle, I was concreting.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And that's a different lifestyle again.
Totally.
When you're concreting.
Yeah.
And then you've gone through what you've gone through.
Yeah.
To then, as you say, was finding the yoga or meeting Renee, the wife, what come first?
The yoga came first, and I still remember it. So in that process, like I found yoga, and I was practicing, started doing a lot of yoga, and what I found for me, the very first time I done a yoga class, at the end they have like 10, 15 minutes in Shavasana where you're just lying there, eyes closed, present.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I can remember in my entire life that I could feel everything that was happening within my body.
Yeah, right.
Like I'd been so disassociated from all parts of myself that 75 minutes done like a physical practice and then got that moment just to be there. Like I just went, fuck, what is this? This is like ecstasy. This is it. Like I want more of this. And then, the addictive personality come out of me, and I was like, some days I was doing 3 classes a day.
Really, yeah?
Fucking chasing that feeling hard.
Wow.
Didn't realise what was happening behind the scenes, like becoming more and more and more present with my body. And then, it was giving me time to really witness everything that had ever happened.
Yeah.
Like everything. And then it started bringing all of this up. And then I started needing like more to assist with that, dove deeper into like meditation. And I'm not sure, just diving deeper into the somatics, because I've done a lot of head therapy my whole life where people are talking at me and I don't deal.
No.
Like people start talking at me and like I want to jump over the table.
Yeah.
Like that's just
well, don't do that today.
Don't do that.
I'm not talking at you today. I'm talking with you, brother.
But that's how it was. Like but when people started guiding me down into my body
and telling you probably what
do you feel?
What you are,
right?
Or who you are.
Yeah, discover it yourself.
Yeah,
giving me the opportunity to really like discover who I am, what I enjoy, what I don't enjoy. So yeah, really diving deeper into the meditation and yoga, and then I was well on my way, and I was looking to do my first yoga teacher training. I'm just like, this is it. I'm going to get into it. This is what I want to do. And started really committing all of my time to that. And in that process too, which just like tests, just like one of my current teacher, Tim Morrison, he talks about it, and I really connect with it a lot, is like just these intense initiations when it's time to up level. Yeah. And I can really identify that over my life. There's like the intensity of a situation, but then what's waiting for it on the other side. Like it's an up level and I've got to go through that to get to that.
Yeah, wow.
So yeah, through that process of learning who I was and letting go of the past and that transition, I also had to mourn the loss of my older brother in a car accident. And
it would be hard.
Super
I got a brother
tricky.
too, and it'd kill me spiritually if I lost him.
Yeah. So it was fucking tough. I remember it was just after Christmas 6 years ago, and just like it would have been very easy at that point just to go back and numb.
Yeah, right.
But I just chose to do more yoga.
Yeah, it gives me goosebumps. So you think about that. Fuck.
I didn't know what else to do at that time. I was just like, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to yoga, and then just started throwing myself into it.
Yeah.
I could also like help process.
Yeah, I was going to say,
emotions.
did that help a lot with grieving?
Yeah,
obviously your brother as well.
Yeah. So in the shavasana at the end, where you just get to lie there, present with yourself.
That's the part I love about yoga.
It's the best.
When they say just lay there.
Just lay there and do nothing. Totally. So in that space, in that time, I really got to process what I was feeling.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'd never allowed myself to feel
anything
ever.
Wow.
Like if I felt something, the only emotion I'd ever felt was fucking frustration and anger.
Yeah.
And it would usually come out in like sideways actions. So yeah, I really remember there was just like the intensity of what I was feeling, but being super supported by the practices I was doing on a daily basis, and had to go down there for the funeral. We had a funeral down in Adelaide. That's where he was living. Then we had another one up in Sydney, and turning back up to the family.
Yeah. How was that? How was that for the life journey at that point?
Right.
Because obviously you're in the yoga.
Yeah.
And you're trying to find yourself.
Right.
Next minute, your brother passes away, and now you got to go and front everyone.
With all the same thing. Like what started to flow up then was all the guilt and the shame of my whole life.
Did you feel guilty in regards to letting your parents down, or did you feel guilty or still a bit sad that they didn't sort of do anything back to you?
Probably both. Yeah, I really feel like even now, like there's a lot of unsaid stuff.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. And on my end, like I can only take responsibility for me, right?
True that.
So I do what I can to and I've got people that like help me with it too.
Yeah.
Being a space holder now, I really need to look at my shit if I'm going to hold space for others to look at their shit.
Yeah, that's right. That's the hardest bit by becoming a like a coach or a teacher.
Right.
You got to own your shit so you can actually coach someone else to the truest form of a coach or a teacher. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, there was that. I got to like turn up, and down in Sydney, down in Adelaide, it was really big. It was like there was a viewing of the body and just being there, I suppose, for my family.
Yeah.
Whilst they were like going through all of that emotion, just being, because he's the eldest and I'm the second eldest, so it's sort of like I really felt a shift. There was a moment where I had some big shoes to fill. Like I had to like step up as the eldest now, and like even though I was still like deep in trying to fucking fix myself.
Yeah, and probably from your parents' point of view, they lost one son.
My dad says this.
And then
got another one back.
Yeah, got another one back.
Yeah, all in the same period, yeah. So my old man did say that once. He goes, I feel like I lost a son, but I also gained
one, yeah. Because at one stage they probably felt, they lost two.
Gone. That's right, yeah. I was gone.
Wow.
Like, gone.
Having children myself, and it gives me goosebumps to even have been in that position of a father to say that to your son who you haven't got along with.
Right.
Fuck, that's
deep.
Crazy, yeah.
And so he doesn't like express all that stuff really well.
No.
As that's just the common theme with males. I think we're trying to break it now. But he didn't really communicate like his feelings much. So him saying that, I understand the depth behind that.
Yeah, I was going to say it must have been a bit of a chill moment where you're like, wow, I've never heard him say that.
Yeah. So ever since then, I mean, like I've really just devoted myself to healing myself. And I know there's this fucking topic at the moment that's running rampant in the world, like trauma and healing. And for me, like that's what I had to do.
Yeah.
Like I had to take responsibility for everything that had ever happened and no longer point the finger at anyone else. Like everything that ever happened was my responsibility. And once I started to do that, then I could move from a place and take action. Like it's mine. Okay, what am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
And this is where the great shifts really started taking place. And I started doing more and more work. Met Renee. And,
in the yoga studio?
Through Brownie.
Hey, the mullet lord, Brown Star. He is a filthy animal, that Brownie.
Sorted us out.
I love that. I love that, man.
Same.
We both mutual friends with Brownie, and we love that dude.
And he's been a big part of my journey in Newcastle. So like I started my journey in the life I'm doing now in Newcastle, and then he moved up here around the same time.
Yes.
So we've been connected.
And he was going through his own journey.
Yeah.
And I remember when it first opened, Lord's Coffee and Associates back in the time.
Yeah.
We're all sort of feeding into that shop.
Totally.
He was single. Yeah. I was obviously single. You were single. We're all just feeding into that shop.
Cruising around doing whatever. And like I met him before that. Even like he had a little hole in the wall coffee shop down on Hunter Street.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
That's what we used to go there and hang out, just like sit on stools out the front and just drink copious amounts of coffee.
Yeah, I know.
Talk trash. But yeah, he's been like, we've been able to lean on each other.
Yeah.
Especially like moving through like that whole journey of like discovering ourselves and then moving into relationships and then moving into business.
Yeah.
Because we both
exactly
really
same line of in it. That's crazy.
We're able to lean on each other and because we're both loose units.
Oh, 100%. And I think that's why I got along with you so well because I'm fucking a loose unit too.
Totally. So we're attracted. That place attracts it.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. It's something about it. It just attracts those, I could say, broken people.
Yeah.
To make them feel connected to something,
right,
and grow from that because it's like it's a growing shop.
Totally.
You go there to grow.
Yeah,
the Lord's Coffee to grow.
Yeah,
that's how I found it. Just to know yourself, know mullet lord, and it's just like everyone who comes here is broken first, but then it becomes a little bit of a family.
Totally. It's cool. And he's like super passionate also about like this self-improvement stuff from, I suppose he's like still deep in the fellowship.
Yeah.
I moved away from it.
Yeah.
For me, just like the work that I started doing with like mindset stuff didn't align with where I was heading with the whole idea of like the affirmations.
Yeah.
Like getting up and telling a whole room of people like, this is my name and I'm an alcoholic or an addict. And I was just like, I just keep reaffirming every single day that like this is what I am.
Yep.
And it got to a point for me. So like I finished the steps, and I was told once I finished the steps, as a result of working the steps, I would have a spiritual awakening, and that didn't happen for me.
Okay, yeah.
I was left just with this thing inside of me that was just like tormenting me.
Really?
So I went down the path of, and I'll say it on here because I really don't care if the world knows. I speak about it.
This is what the Rich Life Project is about, brother.
So I went down the shamanic routes.
Okay.
And started going into all the plant medicines.
Yep.
So first started playing around with dimethyltryptamine, with DMT, had some really good experiences. And Renee, I'd met Renee by this time, and she tapped me on the shoulder and she goes, if you want to really do some proper work, then maybe you should go and drink some ayahuasca.
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure if you...
I've never heard that, no.
Yeah.
I think we better try that one. Can you get that at the hotel?
You get that. So ayahuasca, it's a traditional plant medicine from the Amazon jungle.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, so the communities over there have been using it since the dawn of time. It's simply just two plants that they mix together in a brew and you drink it, and the effects of it, it's one of the strongest psychedelics you can get.
Don't tell fucking Joe Rogan that one.
Well, I think he's into it.
He probably will be into it, that dude, I know.
Wow. Yeah, so I was lucky enough to find some people in Australia that were doing it, and so I went one night ceremony, drank some ayahuasca, and I won't give you the blow-by-blow experience of the whole evening.
Please.
There was a moment where like it kicked, like the full force of the medicine hit, and it became almost unbearable for me. And I stood up and went to just get outside because I couldn't handle what was happening. And I looked down at my body. My legs wouldn't work. I couldn't take a step. And I looked down at my body, and my form had disappeared, and I was just like all energy, just looking at like frequency, sound, whatever it was.
Yeah, wow.
And she said, sorry, but you made a deal that you're going to get some work done tonight, so we're going to do some work. And just fell on the ground, and she goes, like the energy of the medicine like communicates with you.
Yeah.
And she just said, we're going to stay here until you learn to love yourself.
Wow.
That was me for like this next 6 or 7 hours. Just curled up in the fetal position, going through everything that had ever happened, healing every single piece that had like happened, and intense, like super intense. But the next day I walked out, and this thing has never been there again.
Man, maybe we should have drunk some today. I can imagine the stories there. I probably wouldn't have been able to sit here. I'd probably be alcohol. But wow, that's an amazing experience, that.
Yeah. And like I have such reverence for the medicine, and I still do it now. Like I choose to keep going because of how powerful it is. But it's definitely something that's done like in a ceremonial setting with some people guiding it that really know and understand what they're doing, how to hold a safe space and look after people. So yeah, that's the route that I went down. And then I suppose it's really given me leverage now, like in the industry in which I work in, being like working one-on-one with people and in group settings, more so now with like breath work.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, breath work.
And just, I suppose my whole life is my resume. So now, and I really felt it when like I stepped into the yoga and spiritual community. I would seek out men because I wanted to connect with some men that are walking this path. And what I found was I'd walk in and they were behaving strangely. Like they were talking in a certain way and behaving really weird. And I'm just like, why is everyone doing this? Like, that's not me. That's like, and then I figured out, like communicating with people, having like conversations that like people feel like they need to become maybe more feminine when they step into this world.
Okay, yeah.
So I just made a decision that's not what I was going to do.
Yeah.
Like, this is still me. And then when I started, myself and Renee started holding free full moon meditations down on the beach.
I remember those. Yeah.
So that went.
They were popular, man. They were fucking growing fast. I was seeing like there was 20, next minute there's 40, next minute there's 50. And I was like, fuck, what's going on here?
What's going on? So yeah, it really, like, it started just with 5 people, and we're just like, well, I just want to get this out to some people and start creating a community that can support me. We can support each other. Just wanted to like give back and like just get stuck into this work. And it blew out. Like, it got to, I think the biggest one we held, we had over 600 people.
No way.
Yeah.
Fuck. Did you get any complaints or anything like that? Or did like the council say, hey, man, you can't be doing this?
Can't be doing it. I think the only reason like why they didn't, because there was no infrastructure. Even like when we started getting bigger, we're like, how are we going to, no one can hear us anymore. Like,
that's the point.
Right.
With the old microphone.
But
ladies and gentlemen.
Right? That's not me.
No, I was going to say, you're supposed to be quiet.
Yeah. So we figured it out. And this is what started generating like the following on social media. So we just went, well, what if I got a microphone in and we do Instagram live? The people that are sitting further away that can't hear can just put a earpiece in and catch it on Instagram.
Wow,
so they're looking at me.
that's smart. I wouldn't have even thought of that.
So the ripple effects, we got all these extra followers, of course, because you had to follow us in order to.
100%, yeah.
And then we had people all over the country, all over the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit, man. That must be mind blowing at that stage. Incredible. Considering when you're working on yourself, and then you think back to yourself, what you were doing as a kid, no purpose, everything. In jail, remember those nights in jail? Right. Next minute, fuck.
All these people
because of us.
Like,
what we're doing, what we're trying to achieve in a community.
Yeah.
That must have been a mind-blowing stage by itself.
On its own. And that was just the beginning.
Yeah. Wow.
And I really think what gave me the most amount of leverage in the community was I just, so I had some issues going on with like this fraudulent mindset. Like, what if people knew? What if these people knew about my background?
Your past and all that. Yeah.
So I went through this process and it was playing on me. And I'm like, what the fuck am I like I can't hide it.
No.
Like a lot of it happened here in Newcastle. So I just started sharing it. Like, I just got up and started sharing to the community my background, and with no idea of how it's going to be received within the yoga spirituality scene.
Yes.
So it was received really well. And what happened was it started to, I started to get attention from people that also needed help coming from that lifestyle.
I was going to say, one, probably you talking about it and being open about it helps you get off your chest.
Yeah.
And then 2, once you've been honest with everyone, then everyone, instead of people, you know what it's like when people go, oh, he's the yoga king, you know, that's Murray, wow.
Yeah.
Then they go, hang on, he's a fucking criminal. What's your...
Right.
You'd rather be upfront with them.
And
then
still
they go, wow, I respect that dude because one, he's been honest about his accountability for it. He owns his past. I think that's a bigger platform to then build on, rather than you find a lot in other institutions I won't mention. Let's just pretend we're good people.
Right.
And let's not, hopefully no one will find out what we're like.
Right.
But that's exactly the right way to do it.
Yeah, totally.
I feel.
And what it opened up my real work.
Yeah, right.
Like this, all of a sudden I had this realization. It was just like every lived experience in that life that was super painful I needed to go through in order to get the experience I needed to deliver to the people who are also looking for a way out.
Yeah.
So I quickly learnt that my life experience was my number one asset.
I was going to say that's the biggest tool you'll have.
Yeah.
Especially because other people are going through their journey and they go, I'm finding myself in yoga. But they want someone else to guide them because they're going through probably what you've gone through.
Right. Someone that's relatable.
Exactly.
That they can share, like, they're like, fuck, I'm going through this same stuff now. Like, and this is all I do now. Everything I offer. Like, I didn't go to university or wherever to learn some stuff so I could teach people. These are all the fucking tools that I needed to fucking save my life.
That's called street university.
Right.
100%. I've been there.
Yeah. So I had this lived experience of fucking just wildness. And then I went through a process of like learning all of this stuff in order to deal with everything that had ever happened. And then got to a point, people started reaching out, asking, how
how
to
can I get involved? Or
Yeah. So I just started putting programs together. It was like, well, this is what I fucking done to get to where I am, to like get away from all of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And from an outsider looking in, that's where you look and you go, fuck, he's been through all that.
Mm-hmm.
That's his qualification right there.
Right.
To find where he is now and to meditate, to find his inner peace and his inner spirit, that's another journey. That's another level again.
Yeah.
So then you earn respect. In my eyes, then I go, well, fuck, now I know your past. That's more respect.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
In that journey.
And I see it like that also. It's like it's one thing, like overcoming that life and like going into recovery, but then like coming into recovery, then choosing to like really go on with life and make something out of my life speaks volumes, because, you know, I suppose like in the last 5 or 6 years, I've really accomplished more than what the average person can accomplish in their entire life, starting with a really good foundation.
100%.
So, yeah, I really feel like everything that ever happened for an exact reason to get to me to where I am now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that journey, I mean, you got Renee as your beautiful wife.
Yeah.
You've got a business, open mind space, which you've created here in Newcastle.
Yeah.
New dad to a baby girl.
Baby daughter.
Now, again, as I say, being a father to a daughter, now you know what true love is.
Just fucking changes it, doesn't it?
Doesn't it, eh? It's a next level. When you got a daughter, it's a next level love.
Man.
You can have the boy, fucking get over there, son, whatever.
Yeah.
Daughter, oh dear. Now you get to that next level of love.
Right.
Love.
And self-accountability too. It's just like, because she's like a splitting image of me.
Yeah.
You put photos of
trouble.
it. Yes. Photos of us together. It's just like, oh my God.
Because you weren't big on showing the little one on any socials or any photos or
Very
anything
particular.
at the start.
Yeah.
I sort of noticed in my obviously friendship with you.
Yeah.
But then you get to a stage where now you're an hour and a half out of Newcastle.
Yeah.
You went on the big journey and go, you know what? Let's go and do a retreat. Let's buy land and do a retreat.
Yeah. So, we've got a retreat space now that we just kicked off last weekend, really. We ran the first retreat, and we've got like a whole year of stuff coming up this year where, again, it's just me and Renee delivering the tools that we use. That's all we're...
Yeah.
It's not like rocket science.
And it's not hard when you've got those life journey qualifications, because you don't have to go and then reinvent anything. You're just doing what your experience and what your life journey has been.
Right. And this is the big thing I take into it, because I used to get really concerned about if I don't deliver. What if I forget something?
If I've anxiety, I let that down, or I didn't do that.
But this is what I found now. I don't ever bring any notes in anymore to anything. If I can't share it, then I haven't embodied it, and I don't have the right to share it. If I don't get it right and someone's asking a question in that moment that I can't answer, sorry, I don't have the answer, but I'll go and learn about it and get back to you.
100%. So, a bit like me today with no notes on Murray Smith and just come from the golf course. Anyway, let's talk about your story, Murray. But that's 100%. But knowing bits and pieces of you, but that's exactly right. When you can, because you do find, and people who are following you and want to learn things off you, if they see you going, okay, hang on a second, let me just read this.
Right.
They're not feeling what you're trying to teach.
Right.
So that's, from your point of view, you want to tell the truth from your heart and soul.
Yeah.
So then they go, wow, goosebump, that fucking hit me.
That's right.
And that's what the whole, obviously I get what the teaching is with your retreats. And
just full embodiment. And then people see it, it's like, if I don't have to constantly read off notes, they know that this is how I live. Because it's what I'm doing on a daily basis.
Which then becomes the authenticity of what you're teaching and what they're after in their feeling of their journey.
That's right.
I might become a yoga teacher here soon.
Yeah. That's what you want to do.
No, thanks. So
get rid of the boxing scene.
Oh, mate, that's already gone, brother. Trust me, I'm golf or podcasting these days. I'm going on a different journey myself.
Yeah,
but
beautiful.
What's the new establishment you have? Where is it? What's it called?
Sunkuncha Temple, up near Gloucester. And it's just like a really basic, like it looks beautiful, but we've just kept it really basic. Just a place for people to come. We try and keep it accessible for as many people. So there's like not this over the top pricing on it. And it's really like a collaboration. It's Renee's family have come on board. So without them, obviously, that wouldn't exist. Being in small business, the banks really don't fucking want anything. Nothing. Not a thing.
Especially when they go, well, Murray Smith, well, let's see his background. Well, he did have lots of money, but it was the wrong way he got it.
No chance.
But yeah, that must be, and because it's out on the land.
Mm-hmm.
And is it like it's a see-through, like a dome thing?
Yeah, it's just a geodome. I built like a deck and then put it on top of the deck.
Because I remember seeing some stories and you were going elf leather. I'm like, damn, this dude's building another city.
It felt like that too. Yeah. When I was building it, I was just like using friends to come and help, and then we had all the fucking lockdowns.
Oh, mate, that's crazy. It would have been nice, but to be out there in the lockdowns going, fuck, who cares? I'm out here. Do you go out there at night when obviously you've got no retreats or anything, you can just actually sleep in there?
I haven't yet.
No?
I should.
Because one thing I do love is laying down in the middle of the night and looking at the stars, looking at movement things.
Yeah.
That would be perfect.
It's epic out there.
I might come out and have a bit of a snooze with you one day.
It's like super clear.
Sleep over at Murray's.
Yeah, come hang out.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty epic. And really, like, I look at it now, like where I am to where I was, and I don't understand fully how it's all happened.
No.
But I don't need to.
No, that's
all I know is today that, I'm living from a place of truth and authenticity.
100%.
And I'm fulfilling my purpose for being here. Like, I've found that calling, and I don't regret anything that has ever happened. Like, I look back on my entire life, actually with, as painful as some of the experiences were, I look back at it with some gratitude, knowing that it's set me up best for what I'm doing now. And what I do now is just deliver these tools to people that also want to create great change in their life.
Yeah. You know? Crazy. Mm-hmm. And if I had to say Murray Smith, what at this time, as you say, you've gone through fucking one crazy life, and still traveling in that crazy life, but at least you're loving yourself, and you're bringing that truth to people. What's Murray Smith's rich life? If I was to say what brings you joy, what is Murray Smith's rich life these days?
Outside of like holding space for people, like that, like fills my purpose. Outside of that, it's just being a father and a husband. Like I want to set my life up more streamlined, because obviously, like with business, like it's becoming a thing that we need, like, and it's taken up so much of our time. We're actually bringing some more people in just to take care of things, to give us more time to just be present with our daughter.
Well, isn't that's probably the purpose of business life, supposedly, is when you get a good business, it creates freedom.
Well, that's what it's meant to do, but there's this, it's a fucking trap.
I know that.
Small business, the people like constantly in small business, they're talking to me like, how do you get balance? And I'm like, there's no fucking place.
There is
for
no
balance.
balance.
No fucking balance.
It's a hit and miss and hope. But when as I say, when you got a beautiful wife, daughter, yourself, and you've got that space that you're in now and you're loving it, it's easy to then live each day going forward, whatever obstacles come.
Totally.
Because then you know how to deal with those obstacles when they do come.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, being the father of the young daughter, that is a real rich life. And
totally.
I've felt that, when I had my daughter, but yeah, it's amazing feeling.
Entering into their world, right? Like when they're doing in their imagination state, where they're just doing something that you don't understand, like what's going through their head, just like stopping what I'm doing and diving into that. Like whatever that imagination she's got going on, just like entering into that whole world.
It is another world, isn't it?
Totally.
It is another world.
Like she's just making shit up and like
going with it.
How does she know about any of this? Like, where's it all coming from?
But in saying that, it's, now you're in that space where you guys are at. That's a great role models to follow, to learn about life, because you're learning the new life.
Totally.
And now she gets to jump on that journey to learn the new life with you. She don't have to learn the old life.
That's the
best part about that parenting stage,
right?
Where you're at, eh?
Yeah, I really want to. I don't know. I don't like to use the words "get it right," but I just want to, be more supportive and present with her, so like she doesn't feel that disconnect, and whatever that stuff I was feeling
Yep.
in home, at school, and in society.
Exactly.
I just really want to acknowledge that she may be just as sensitive, and instead of like seeing it as something wrong with her, just nurturing it instead. Like, it's okay that you're like this.
Yeah.
You don't need to be fixed.
No.
Yeah.
Amazing, brother. Amazing, mate. I just want to thank you for your time, because I know it's been a bit of a try and get you in the booth, but mate, just really honoured to have some time with you to talk about your journey, painful and great.
Yep.
But mate, thank you for coming on the Rich Life Projects, brother, and much appreciated.
Appreciate being here. It's like I've made it.
Mate, you have.
Made it.
Into the booth.